What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Rochelle and I'm back with another video. In today's video, we are starting off the month of November with some content that I don't normally share. It's been a few months and I'm excited to share with you what I've been working on. In today's video, we are going to talk about our plan to retire in 10 years, y'all. That's right. If you know us already, you know that my husband and I moved to the island of Oahu, Hawaii, and he took on a full position here, and we immediately went into action creating a plan to fully retire my husband in the next 10 years. And I want to share with you what that's looking like. So if that's something you'd be interested in, then stick around. Just a quick disclaimer. This is me getting up on my soapbox real quick. Shout out to the 99% of you guys who are super, super awesome. You guys comment, like, and subscribe. You are positive, you are motivating, you are inspiring, you are rooting us on in all of our budget endeavors. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are the bomb.com. Unfortunately, I have this 1% that's starting to come in and troll my comments. And it's so negative and so sad because they're people who are educated. I will say that these are people who have lived their life. They are actively working to pay down debt. We have the same common goals, and yet they find that it makes sense to them to come to my channel to kind of like tell me everything that I'm doing wrong, tell me what information I should or should not be sharing with you guys, my audience who chooses to watch my content. And I just want to say, please don't come here. Like we didn't ask you to come here and be negative. There's nothing wrong if you want to disagree respectfully with the content that I'm sharing. But some people, you know, they're writing dissertations. Like, I won't write a dissertation back. I'm just so surprised, you know, so it's so funny. Be careful what you wish for. Like, you want the views, you want your audience to grow, you want to be exposed to more people, but the more people you are exposed to, unfortunately, that does mean you're going to have some people who aren't always the most positive. And the energy on my channel has always been a positive one. It's always been one where I share information for free 99 that I've learned, tips and tricks that work for our scenario. And maybe it wouldn't work for you in your personal scenario, but the whole idea is just to get you thinking and get you in the mindset where, you know what, I can do this. I can get ahead of my debt. I can live my best life on a budget. I can travel. I can create generational wealth. All of that stuff is possible, even if I'm the first one in my family to do it. Or maybe I'm the 100th person, because, you know, there's people in everybody's family who, you know, they're successful, but they maybe didn't share their journey, or maybe they're successful and they were successful because of the things they did. And so I just wanted to quickly just say, thank you to all the 99%, and 1%, just know that I will not be answering your comments back. You might even get welcome to my block party. But the energy here is always one where we're learning together. I never claim to be a professor of anything. And just because you have a degree in something doesn't mean that you know it all. And I speak in reference to my mortgage payoff journey, which is like a video that always performs really well and has huge engagement. I'm always blown away by how many people disagree with paying down their mortgage, disagree with removing escrow, disagree with all of the things that are possible just because, you know. So anyway, I am too excited to dive into this fire plan. So that is the last time you will even hear me mention about negativity. In fact, if you watch any of my content prior to this, I don't think I've ever even talked about it. But just a disclaimer out there before you start typing, just know you might want to watch a few of my videos first before you come at me sideways. Onward, people, onward. Okay, here we are with our fire plan. Now, if you watched any of my previous videos where I started to talk more about our plan to retire in 10 years, then you remember that I had some notes here on sheets like these where I shared a little more details about our fire plan. It has been adjusted a little bit more, but we're gonna go over that plan just to see how much progress we have made, even though we're making some changes. So, of course, anything you see used in today's video, you can find it on my website, RochelleAdamson.com. I just wanted to make a beginner-friendly plan so that you could use to document your journey. And so I always believe in starting where you are. No matter if you have debt, it doesn't mean you shouldn't start planning. I mean, I just feel like we should always be dreaming big. So if you are that type of person that likes to stay inspired and stay motivated to think about life after debt, this is where you might want to start. So first off, net worth. I hear a lot of people talk about net worth. Just know that net worth and FIRE actually are two different things. Net worth are your assets minus your liabilities, and that's what what creates your net worth. And your FIRE is actually an acronym that stands for financial independence, retire early. And the goal of retiring early, the whole point of FIRE is to save and invest aggressively, somewhere between 50 to 75% of your income, so you can retire in your 30s or 40s. In order to do that, you definitely have to save at least half of your income. Now, my husband and I, we're in our late 30s, and so this actually isn't an achievable goal, but we still want to retire him earlier. So instead of him working until he's in his late 60s or 70s, we're going to do what we can so that we can get him retired before he turns 50. And so in order to make that happen, we have to look at what our finances are right now and where we plan to be in 10 years. So don't be uninspired and a little down if you are not able to achieve FIRE. There are ways to still achieve FIRE later in life. So of course, awesome for you if you're in your teens or in your 20s and you're watching a video like this, because y'all, time is on your side. You are going to be able to handle this, and you are going to achieve FIRE in your 30s or 40s if you put some of the things that you're watching on YouTube into practice. But for us, we're still going to achieve our own version of FIRE. And actually, there's so many different types of FIRE, but the FIRE that we're going to talk about today is the leanest FIRE you will see. Because my husband and I reside in Hawaii right now along with our daughter, but in 10 years our daughter will be 20 years old, so we will only be including a money goal and plan for myself and my husband, and we plan to retire to either Mexico or Thailand. I'm pushing for Mexico. And just know that I even have the confidence to even talk about this on camera because we actually get to watch it happen in real life. My husband's parents have been retired in Mexico, living their best life for almost 10 years now. And so this is the power of seeing dreams put in motion and activated. We watched them plan for years to do this, and I can't tell you how many people were like, nah, you guys aren't moving away. What? You guys are gonna live outside the US? Is that safe? Da-da-da-da. Guys, you gotta travel more. It is so much more in this world to do other than be in the USA. The USA is amazing. We have a lot of benefits, a lot of stuff like that, but there's just so many things you can learn by traveling abroad. So anyway, that is why I am able to speak so confidently in the fact that we are definitely going to live abroad, because we already have family that has been doing this, like they've been. So FIRE. This movement of FIRE is going to encourage people to live below their means. That's the whole point, is to live off of less so that you can put more money toward investing early, towards our early retirement or part-time work. So another interesting fact is I am definitely going to keep on working, doing what I do, my side hustles, my YouTubing, my website work. That will all continue because it's something that I enjoy doing. So that's the whole point, is just to get my husband out of the hot zone. That's what we call it. We don't want him going to work every day for the rest of his life. That just sounds really boring to us. We already have put so many things in motion to make this happen. And so we're going to dive into that now. Now, how much money do you need for FIRE? Now, based on the safe withdrawal rate, you are going to need 25 times your annual cost of living. And so that is why this sheet right here is so valuable to me, because we are going to talk about what exactly we're going to live off of while we're living internationally, because it's a game changer. It's why we are going to be why we're going to be able to afford to retire early. I don't think this would have been possible if we continued to live in the USA. So for example, if right now you're making $50,000 a year, in order to sustain the lifestyle that you want using a safe withdrawal rate of like 4%, you're going to want to multiply that by 25, and that's going to put you at about $1.25 million. And that's so interesting because that's actually our goal. We are lean, and so we only plan on saving or investing and reaching $1.125 million. That feels like enough money to us. And that's a question that you really got to like talk about in your household. Like, how much money do you really need to live off of? Like, of course it would be nice to have more money, but once we reach this goal, we're going to breathe a sigh of relief, and we're going to activate the next level of our goals. So I talked in last videos that I talked about fire, and I talked about motivation, because we don't always have, you know, people in our lives who we can kind of bounce ideas off of. And so find you that podcast, find you that successful person who was able to achieve fire. For us, I love watching channels like Road to Fire, Mommy Trader, Fun and Budget with Tanisha Davis. They're all at different points in their journey of achieving fire. Another one is Rebecca's Quest to Fire. She even had a special feature on Borrowed Future, which was a documentary that Dave Ramsey and his team just released, which was actually really good. I don't, you know, subscribe to the whole Dave Ramsey thing. I definitely think he set the foundation, set the tone, but, you know, there's definitely, you know, other ways to be good with money. But my newest motivation is definitely, I say my newest, but my latest, like I've been binge watching them. I used to watch them from the very beginning. Their YouTube channel is Our Rich Journey. And this is a African-American couple that live in Portugal with their 2 daughters, and they've been living their best life. And the reason I like looking at their journey is because they're so far into their journey. Like, they are doing it big, you know? And so I think it's important to watch people at different phases of their journey. That way you can kind of connect with the person where you are currently. And let's talk about the motivation. Okay, so we're going to put motivation for this month is Our Rich Journey. Let's talk about our retirement age. We want to have Micah retired by the age of 50. I'm a stay-at-home mom who homeschools our daughter, and I work from home part-time. So I was a career nurse for 10 plus years. I managed an assisted living facility of 100 or more clients and residents, and so I put in my time. I did 15 years of that, and when we moved to Hawaii, it was just not, it didn't make sense for me to work as a nurse here and also pay for childcare. So we have been living off of one income for 2+ years, and we're thriving. Like, I think we're even spending less money because we're more responsible with it. So don't be scared to try and live off of one of your incomes if you are in a multiple income household. Okay, so where? This is the big thing. If you're not going to live in the U.S., you're definitely going to be able to achieve fire a little quicker. Or some states in the U.S., they do have a low cost of living. But for us, we plan to retire in either Mexico or Thailand. I speak about Mexico more because it's a place that we already spend about 1 to 3 months a year basically residing in, because of, you know, already having family that lives there. So we go to, you know, have a good time with them and check on them and, you know, all of that stuff. But my husband really wants to also look at Thailand, because right now, with us being in Hawaii, and this is the benefit of travel and taking on this position in Hawaii, we were exposed to the, you know, Thailand and the culture, because living in Hawaii, there's a huge culture where you see all different types of Asian backgrounds here, and we talk to a lot of people, and they tell us how, you know, amazing it is in Thailand. And so we're like, yeah, we're gonna definitely put that on the list and see what we can find out more about it. Now, our monthly cost of living is going to be based off of Mexico, so all of our numbers from here on out are just going to be related to Mexico. We plan to live off of $2,000 a month in Mexico, and we are going to be able to do that. I'll share down here how we're going to be able to do that. That's a really generous amount. The average, just to give you an idea, I picked Guadalajara. It's a common expat city inside of Mexico. It's not on the coast, so that automatically means it's going to be cheaper. But you can fly to Cancun in like an hour from there, maybe 1 to 2 hours, depending on what side of Guad you're coming from. It's an international airport. You can fly right into Guad within 6 hours of coming from Baltimore, or 4 4 to 5 hours coming from Houston, Texas. So it's a very accessible city. The average person has estimated monthly costs set at about $450 a month. That's for one person to live. That does not include rent. That includes everything except for rent. So my husband and I have allocated about $900 and set aside each month for us to live off of, and then the rest actually would go toward housing, and that we already kind of built in. The average area, like we want to live in a nice area, an expensive area. We are aiming for a 1-bedroom that will cost us about $800 a month, and we have also tacked in about let's see, let's do the math. We don't have to eyeball this. 2,000 minus 900 is $1,100, and so that's what we're leaving for rent. We are aiming for $800, so if we minus the 800, that leaves us about $300 to cover the cost of inflation. You always want to give yourself a buffer because it's just the times we're living in. Things go up over time, and so we just want to be able to still reach our goals. Okay, now let's talk about the timeline. This is something that I explained in my first video, but this is the cool part. We actually achieved a lot of these goals already. So in 2019, our first goal was to just follow the money, right? Follow the money. And so we definitely achieved that. That meant that we started budgeting, we started being responsible with our money. We looked at our jobs and we applied for new jobs, and we were both able to get new jobs in 2019 because we were severely underpaid, like severely. My husband is an electrician, I was a nurse, and we were so severely underpaid, it wasn't even funny. So I definitely say, guys, do your research, always put in an application, you just never know. In 2021, we achieved our second goal, which was to travel hack. We were tired of taking off and just traveling like 1 or 2 times a year for like 1 week. We decided to move to Hawaii for work. We took on a position, a temporary position that turned into a permanent one, and we reversed our lifestyle. So now we live somewhere where we can go to the beach every day if we want, and it just helps us, it helps our mindset a little more. Like when he's only off 1 day a week, we know we can do whatever we want because we're in Hawaii. And actually it's so expensive to live in Hawaii, but because we budget very closely, we have found hacks and ways to make our money stretch. Now 2022 is our next goal, so we're going to put that here. And this is why you write these goals down, because when I made this video, you guys, I did not believe that it would be possible for us to be mortgage free. I think I made this video where I had these notes earlier this year. I just can't believe how close we are to paying off our mortgage. It's just unreal. I get almost tearful. It's just crazy. But okay. Then in 2023, we want to be debt free, because we do still have some consumer debt. We just bought a car since we decided to move to Hawaii. We had previously sold all of our cars, and so we did not have to pay car insurance or car payments for 2 years. So that meant that we were able to knock out a lot of mortgage debt. Then in 2025, we hope to be able to live off of our passive or side hustle income. So instead of, using my husband's income, I would love to reverse it and live off of our side hustle / passive income, all of those sources put together in one basket to pay the rent, pay the utilities, pay the car insurance, and be able to just pocket my husband's income. That would be just like so clutch. I know it's kind of a crazy dream, but we're gonna write it down, because anything is possible. Anything. I would even be happy if we were able to, because right now I feel like we're able to live off of half of his income, and that's just because we have high rent. That's literally our only high bill. But we'll see. Then 2030. In 2030, we hope to be on our way, like within 1 year of retiring. So that's our goal. We're keeping it very simple for 2030. 1 year to retire. If we can do that, woo, in 2030, to even say that would be just so awesome, because we're in 2021, right? So we'd be 9 years in to our FIRE plan. Then in the year 2031, we hope to retire Micah and move, I'll just say, just for the sake of this video, move to Mexico, only because we're still doing our research on Thailand. So yeah, that is our timeline. I love writing it out that way. It makes sense to me. You can definitely use the retirement timeline here or write it here. So these are our goals. And so now I want to talk about what those numbers look like. So as far as our current goals, we have our stocks / investments. We'll just say investments. Okay, currently our investments sit at about $142,000, just to make it easy. I love whole numbers. Yeah. So then we have real estate next. So we do have a rental property in Maryland, and that is currently valued at about $140,000. Cash on hand, we kept it simple. We have about $12,000 on hand, and this is not including our emergency fund or money that we have set aside in case of a rental property emergency. This is money that we are just putting to the side. And we have a new goal of getting it to about $20,000, and then anything above that we'll probably start to invest a portion of it. But for now, we just need that cold hard cash. We just like to have a certain amount of cash to make us feel comfortable, just so that we can have at least 6 months of money to live off of in case my husband were to lose his job, or in case we see something that we just want to buy. Whether it's a car, just whatever, we're able to do that without having to pull from our actual income. Next up is our daughter's savings. I used to include this in the total. I don't think that I'm going to now, because the more I think about it, she is such a vibrant spirit. Like she's a traveler. She's been on this earth for 10 years, and she's on like her 3rd passport. She literally has traveled the world. So I don't foresee her living with us. We've already told her that she can definitely live with us if she wants to. I really think that she'll be one of those kids that just has somewhere that she leaves her stuff. And she will either go get married or she'll go travel the world, whatever. So we're not going to include Eva in the mix at this point. Now let's talk about our goals for these 3 areas. So in the future, we hope to grow our investments to $1 million. That just feels like a good number to reach for, right? $1 million. And that would be just any type of investments that we have, whether it's 401ks, IRAs, any type of Robinhood activity, M1 Finance, just put it all in one bucket. That's what we would like to grow our investments to. And just so you see how far we've come in about 3 months since we posted this video. Maybe it's been about 6 months. Our investments were at about $138,000, and now it's at about $142,000, because remember, we're still paying off our mortgage. So we're not aggressively adding to our investments yet. We only contribute about $3,000 to my husband's 401k a year, and then we contribute maybe about $200 a month to my husband's Robinhood, and my Robinhood. So, you know, the market was up. So at first this number was actually probably about 150. But then of course we took a hit, but we're in it for the long term. So it doesn't really matter to us. We would actually be happy with 500,000, but we're going to aim high and do $1 million. Next up is real estate. We would love for our property to grow in value to 200,000. We think that that's a reasonable goal because of all the renovations that we have made. I've talked about this in past videos. We cash flowed extensive renovations. Like, we're not talking repairs. We gutted the entire lower level of our rental property. So there's a brand new kitchen / dining, and also laundry / TV area and bathroom. So we've also renovated the upstairs main bath as well. We've put a lot of money, cold hard cash, into our property because we want to be able to charge for a premium quality tenant. Next up is the cash. So we would love to grow our cash to $50,000 by the time we retire, and so that's why we say $20,000 right now. Hopefully we'll be able to achieve that by next year, but we will definitely want to have about $50,000 cash on hand, and that just comes with the fact that with what we know right now with living internationally, if we were to apply for residency so that we could have dual citizenship in both the US and Mexico, or the US and somewhere else. Well, I'm speaking about Mexico, and since that's what we already know about, you have to show that you are not going to be a burden on the country. So of course they would love to see investments, but when it comes down to it, they want to see that your statements show that you have income coming in every month. So that is the only reason really why we still have real estate. So of course I'll still continue to do my, business, and I'll have income that, from that source. But the main thing is that they want to see that income, and they also want to see that you're established. They want to see that you have money on hand that you're going to spend inside of the country, because I don't know, that's just how Mexico is. They want to make sure that you're going to add some value to their country. And it's so wild to me when I watch the TV and I see how Mexico gets a bad rep. Mexico is, first off, a very huge country. And so I invite you to travel there and see. It's just like any place else. You just want to use common sense. You don't want to go into areas where you haven't done your research and don't know people personally. You just want to be safe. You wouldn't walk into a dark alley in New York City at night. Why would you do it in Mexico? And so I can honestly say, yes, things have happened to people that we know in Mexico, but I can't say that those same things aren't things that haven't happened here in Hawaii. Okay, there's a lot of crime here in Hawaii. It's so crazy to me how people, who don't know that, but or anything that might happen in Baltimore. There's just different levels of crime and different types of crime based on where you go and where you live. And it's all about, when it comes down to it, it comes to your own personal comfort level. I am more comfortable living in Mexico and living in Hawaii than I am living in Baltimore. That's just me personally. Okay. So those are the three main areas that I'm focusing on right now, because we are still paying off debt. This is, again, you can do this whatever way you want to do it. Okay. You can do it whatever you want. Scenario. Like, we're going to talk about our current scenario. So right now we already talked about what age we want to be when Micah retires. Right now Micah is 39. He will be 40 next year, and so that's why 50 is our goal, because he has an early birthday in a year. So we just chose 50 just because we like round numbers, and if it happens at 49, we're not going to be sad. Okay, after tax income right now is about 120K per year. That fluctuates. Like, you've watched my budgeting videos. Right now we're on track to make about $150,000 this year, and that doesn't include my husband's stipends that he's received this course of the year, any reimbursements. We did not pay for housing for the last 2 years, so there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to my husband's income, so that we're just trying to make it as extremely simple. Now our yearly expenses right now, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and change this to $150,000 per year. Our yearly expenses, we're going to calculate that and do a rough sketch. Right now on housing, we'll go ahead and put about $2,700 a month times 12. Okay, so that's $32,000 plus we'll just say $32,000 because I told you round numbers. Then we have our car payment, which by the time we do insurance and car, we'll just say $1,000 per month. We actually pay our car like once every 2 months, our car note, and we pay our insurance every 6 months. So it's kind of hard to figure out. We have a lot of high coverage right now for car insurance. So we'll just say, what is that divided by 6? About 300. So we'll say 350, 1,200 a month. 1,200 times 12. So we'll say 14. So 14 plus 32, 46. So we'll just say about $50,000 if we include food. Our yearly expenses about 50, and then our personal money we'll just go ahead and split this down the middle and do about $75,000. By the time we include debt and everything else, our yearly expenses probably come to about $75,000. We put a lot of money this year. This is why, again, why this is so tough. We put a lot of money in the last 2 to 3 years into cash flowing our rental property expenses. We did not go into debt. We did not take out a loan for any of that. And we are probably at the $60,000 to $80,000 mark at this point on how much money we have spent in the last 2 years on that property, just to give you an idea. So we accomplished that. Plus we were able to still pay down our mortgage and pay off other debt. So we've really been pushing. Now, yearly contributions, we were aiming for $6,000, but we actually had to put it back down to a humble $3,000 a year. Our rate of return was really good. It was like 8% on average. And if you want to know what any of this stuff is, just do a quick Google search. But right now it's sitting at about 6% for us. My husband he has several 401ks, like from previous jobs, current jobs. So we're adding a lot of things in play. Then of course we already talked about our savings up here, which is about $12,000. But the thing I want to focus on next is our percentage of our income to retirement savings. We have a new goal, y'all, to put $500 a month to savings for retirement. We're gonna, and that means, like, of course, investing $500. So we'll see. We will see what happens with that. But our estimated, if we jump over to future, our estimated expenses here, just to give you an idea like how expensive it is to be in the USA versus here, if we do $2,000 a month, which is our plan, times 12 months, $24,000 a year is what we could live off of comfortably in Mexico. So that right there was the game changer for us. And like I said, we've spent the last 10 years flying in and out of Mexico. We've been in all different parts of Mexico. We've, tried to live off of $100 a week, made it work. We lived off of $50 a week, made that work too. We just try stuff every time we go back, and sometimes we splurge and we spend $500 a week or $1,000 a week just to see what our money can do for us, and it's been a game changer for us. So this is how we're looking so far. This is as far as I want to go with the FIRE plan, especially if you're a beginner. Just start with the simple stuff. Start with how much money you want to save, how old you want to be, what your motivation is going to be, where, how much you want to, spend per month comfortably, and look at your current scenario and compare it to your future scenario. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is to definitely check out a free retirement calculator online. Right now, since we have some new goals, we want to start saving $500 a month and putting it toward retirement somehow. We right now put about $200 a month towards retirement, not including my husband's jobs contributions or his pre-tax contributions. And so I use the retirement calculator on NerdWallet. And this, of course, is just for one person. And I know last time I did this video, people said, oh, that's impossible for 2 people to live off of. Well, for us, it actually isn't. I am taking courses to learn how to do my own hair and nails. I've already taken courses on how to do my own eyebrows and makeup. I don't spend money on a lot of things that, the average person might spend money on. And if I do spend money on it, it's money that I've saved. And so we've just been making small changes over time to be more minimalistic. And who knows, if we're wrong, oh well, we'll go back to work. That's the biggest thing. You got to jump in head first. You got to prepare, you got to save, you got to plan, and then you got to try it. So anyway, if we want Micah to retire by the age of 50, by setting aside $200 a month, our monthly retirement spending, of course, would be $2,000. I have about $1,000 of expected income I plan to receive at retirement age. and we expect to live to our 90s with an investment rate of return at 6%, it shows that we are 55% to our goal, which is pretty cool. And then if I were to adjust this and start saving, because remember I said we're going to start saving $500 a month, it says that we're actually going to be 61% to our goal if we do that. If we start to save $500 a month from now until Micah turns 50. So just, you know, trying to see what we can do to, you know, knock out debt but still reach our FIRE goals. We do hopefully plan to be debt free by 2023. But that's it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget, you can definitely get this 2-page starter beginner kit to your FIRE journey on my website, RochelleAdamson.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Peace, love, and budgets.